Well, I'm recording, so good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Kelly. For those of you who don't know me, and Lisa Friesman, we make up the Microsoft 365 training group here at the University of Missouri. We started out just on the Columbia campus, but we've expanded. It's good to have St. Louis joining us, and we also have Raleigh and Kansas City as well, besides Columbia. So today we're going to talk about PowerPoint Live and how that's different from our typical PowerPoint. So let me just share my screen. I'm looking back and forth between my two screens. Hopefully I got the right one there. Normally in PowerPoint, so here's a PowerPoint, and this is how we normally do it, right? We come in here, and whether you're using Zoom or Teams, you're able to share your screen, right? This is the way most people use PowerPoint. They just share their screen. One of the things you can do in PowerPoint, if you're not aware, and I'm just going to show you one of the features, on the M365, if you go up to Insert, and I'll go slow since we have plenty of time. Over here on the right, there's a cameo. Since we're already in a meeting, I am going to use my laptop camera. So you can put yourself into your presentation, and this is just an object. So I could take this object and I can copy that, my cameo, and then paste it anywhere else on another slide, and I can move it around. So if you have cases where you need to have cameo, you can do that. I mean, you can also do the different shapes of cameo. You can make them into stars and all kinds of fun things. So it's just another image. And that's just PowerPoint, right? You can show that, but people can't interact with your presentation like you can in PowerPoint Live. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. Let me minimize this PowerPoint. I have it's a virtual machine because it's hard to show you Teams meetings or PowerPoint Live while I'm in a presentation. So let me just bring up this, and I'm going to bring up PowerPoint. And I should have had this ready because on a virtual machine, you'll notice it runs a little slower. All right, meet now. Start a meeting. Okay, share. So if I click on share here in a meeting, you have the option of putting yourself, the presenter, on the slides and screen or window. And that was something we talked about with our Teams meetings. We have a training on that. But down here, what we're talking about is PowerPoint Live. And you'll see a list here of different PowerPoint presentations that I've been working on recently. So here's one that I just had up on my other screen. So I'm going to click on that. It's only 4 slides. So this is what it looks like behind the scenes. Normally, and I will tell you, when it's a non-virtual environment, this will be a lot faster. It's just because it's in a virtual environment. It includes Cameo. Yeah, it does include Cameo. So behind the scenes, can you all see this okay? It looks small on my screen. Okay, I know it probably looks small on yours. But so behind the scenes, it looks like this. So I have, of course, stopped sharing and the different layouts I want to see, because over here, if I have notes, you can see your notes here on the slides for each of your PowerPoint slides if you're used to using that. Now, I also have a normal view, this little eyeball. That means and we're going to do this in our presentation that I'm sharing with you, you'll be able to scroll through the slides at your leisure. But if I come to a point, maybe something important, or I want to make sure that everybody is on the same slide, I can come up here and block that so everybody now comes to this slide. Okay. Then, of course, you'll see other options that you can do. You can pop out your presentation maybe onto one window, and then you can maybe have the view of the people on the other, the presenter. But what I can do here, you have different, the grid view if you want to go to the different tiles of your presentation. Under more actions, this is where the 3 dots, this is where you could translate the slide. Now, as a presenter, if I translate it, it's going to change it for everybody. But on your case, you can translate the slide and only you see it. You can see those. And then, of course, behind the scenes again, when you're presenting, here's a laser, like a red. So if I use my laser and hold the mouse down or whatever I'm using, whatever pointing device, let go, It stays on the screen briefly and then it disappears. If I click twice, I can choose whatever color laser I wish to have, maybe based on my background. Maybe a blue might show it better. It doesn't. And then you can annotate with pins. You can write on it. And if I double click, I can make the pins thicker and get the pretty purple color maybe. Or this rainbow color and galaxy, kind of fun colors. And of course, those are annotations. They'll stay on that one slide. So if I go to the next one, come back, they're still there. And then, of course, you have the typical highlighters to highlight something. Double click on it, the thickness of your highlighter, and then maybe I can get a pink. And then it's thicker. And then you have your eraser where you can erase individual parts of it. Or if you double click, you can say erase all the ink on this slide, all your annotation. These for your notes section. Again, if I had notes, I could increase my font size or decrease my font size of my notes. It doesn't affect the slide. And of course, you can see the other things. So this is what it looks like behind the scenes when you're presenting. A lot of people, again, they'll use notes, especially if maybe you're grad student interns and you're giving a presentation early on in your career. Or maybe you're forgetful like me and you need to put notes on your typical slides. They'll show up right here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to share this exact one with this group and you all will see that. Now I will mention at Microsoft, there's a bunch of different departments. They have a department just for recording. Right? So because PowerPoint Live and there's also an Excel Live, it's really advancing. The recording part hasn't kept up with it yet. So if I share a PowerPoint Live, the recording will show the slide, but they won't show all the fancy annotations and everything that I'm doing, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this, stop showing this. And I'm going to quit, let me bring you all up here, and I'm going to quit sharing that, but I'm going to share a PowerPoint Live. I'm just going to simply, had that PowerPoint presentation up. Right at the top right again, it says Present in Teams. So all I'm going to do, since we're in a Teams meeting, I'm going to click on Present in Teams. And it says Presenting, I'll say Present. And now you all should see that coming up here shortly. And again, it'll run a lot quicker and smoother since I'm not in a virtual. Now, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to remove anything. I'm going to let you all do things at your leisure. So you could advance through the slides. So if you all want to advance through the slides, and then underneath it, you might see the 3 dots. See if you can change the slide in your own language, like either slide 2 or 3. Change that into your own language.
I did it in Dutch.
Dutch?
Are
you fluent in Dutch? Go ahead.
No, but it did the whole thing.
Yeah. So so it's saying, but you can see it on all your slides. And it doesn't affect me as a presenter. So somebody else could pick another slide. I'm going to go to slide 3.
The only thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The only thing is, it makes the font really big when you when you do that. So like on slides 2 and 3.
Yeah.
The font is like really, really big. So you can only see part of the slide.
When you chose Dutch, what happens if you choose another language? Is it the same thing?
Yes,
actually,
I did French. And yeah, it made like she said, it's as if it was zoomed in on that slide, and you're reading just a portion of the slide.
Okay.
Right. And I switched it back to English, and it still shows the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. So if I go Spanish, I'm gonna try the slide. Oh, that is huge. And if you go back to English, and I wonder if that's the reason. Oh, it's still really big.
There is an option that says
zoom.
Magnify slide only for me, but when you do that, even when you go do the minus, it still makes it really big.
Okay, so you know what? With this presentation, let me try a different presentation. stop sharing. I picked this presentation, but I had these zoomed in to make those images large. So I probably should have just changed the font size. Let me try it. And everything you need to know about external sharing, Teams Talk. I'm just going to pick another one. Maybe these haven't been manipulated. Try this one. Let me change this, and maybe, of course, if I change it, it might change it for everybody. Yeah, this one works better because
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, this is a better example. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That's good to know. So I'll have to look and see what I did. Oh, you know what? Depending on the font, I use some kind of special font, and it has a size of 60.
Mm.
On that other one, and so maybe that, yeah, you probably need to stay with the standard universal font. Okay, so I'm glad you pointed that out. So yeah, try that. Try to translate, advance to the slides. But let's say if you guys, so how about everybody get on whatever slide they want except for slide 3. So pick 1, 2, or 4. So now I can go up here and I can say, I'm going to disable the private view. And if I do that, you should all jump to slide 3.
Mm-hmm.
So now everybody's on slide 3. I can take my pen and I can say, okay, standout mode looks like this. And this is good. You can see the different views. Side by side looks like this, where I'm equal. And the reporter view, you can see where I'm larger. So these are things you can do with Teams. You have the different type of presenters, and this is actually a good little slide. At the top, you can see this is just your presentation. If you want your standout, you choose this, side by side, and then finally reporter. So when you're presenting, if you're sharing a slide, if you're sharing a screen, then you can use those options. You can do that. Now, also at the very top of your menus, and this is more of a Teams meeting, but since we're using Teams, at the top where it says more, your meatball menu, your ellipsis, if you select that and you come down to language and speech, everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
So at the very top of your Teams meeting, Lisa?
Yes. Oh, the other Lisa.
The other Lisa. So at the very top, you'll see the more option with the 3 dots. If you click on that and then come down to language and speech, select language and speech, and then turn on live captions. And I'm speaking in English when prompted. So that will turn on your live captions, and you don't have to train this. It holds the world record for accuracy, but there used to be 3 dots to the side of the caption, and now it says settings, and this is what I was talking about. Soon, and let's check it today, if you click on settings, you can click on caption settings. Right now, we don't have the option of display language because what we had before this caption settings, we had spoken language and display language. So I could be speaking in English and then you could change your caption to your most comfortable language. But you do see options of what your captions will look like. You can change your style, the height, and where you want your captions. You know, if you don't want them right now, they're at the bottom, you can have them at the top, you can move them around. But again, this mostly is for Teams meetings, but it does kind of pertain to PowerPoint Live as well. All right, so again, I thank you all for coming out and have a good